So good afternoon and a very, very warm welcome from Wellesbourne Allotments to our National Garden Scheme Open Day, raising money for their fabulous medical charities. I'm Wendy, I'm a plot holder, and I'm standing here with Ian Hope, who is our chairman. Ian, why are we standing at this particular spot?
Well, we've been very fortunate to raise the profile of the allotments and the good that the allotments do, but most recently we actually appeared on the Country File programme. So it's the latest of the high-profile incidents that we've had in demonstrating the value of allotments.
And this is not our first National Garden Scheme Open Day, is it, Ian?
No, this is our fourth Open Day, and to date we've raised nearly £9,000 for worthy causes. So
that's absolutely fabulous, and I'm sure we're going to boost that today. We have a lot happening today. Would you like to tell us who our VIP guest is?
Right, so we're very lucky. We've got Dr. ProfStefan Buczacki, who is renowned for Gardener's Question Time on BBC Radio 4, and he will feature first of all in the opening, and then secondly we've got our own Gardener's Question Time event later in the afternoon.
Thank you, Ian. One last question before I let you go, because I know you've got a lot of important duties to do, but I think that we need to give a big thank you, don't we, to many people today.
We've had phenomenal support from the village and local businesses. So what we've actually done, we've actually displayed all the donors and sponsors on a number of sheets around the allotments. So thank you very much to each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ian. We'll catch up with you later. We'll see you at the opening ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want to go, if you go off down there, Ian, I'm going to do a little walk now through. This is John and Jill's allotment. It is a lovely place, as you can see. On my right, I don't know if David can get them, is what they're calling Wheeler's Orchard. That's after Colin Wheeler, who used to have this plot. And this is a succession of different heritage apple and pear trees. And then just down on my left, again, I don't know, David, if you can get down there, is an example of how nature will always go its own way. So John and Jill have put together a border of yellow courgettes, but this particular plant has decided that it's not having any of that, and it's going to be both yellow and green, which I think is just magnificent. So as we walk down through this plot, we've got a number of different vegetables, but we're actually going to somewhere else which is very, very special. And I'm hoping that we're going to have time to talk to somebody there. But the plot that we're going to is the Oscar's dementia-friendly plot. Now that is specifically for people living with dementia. It all arose because of one of our plot holders' suggestions. That was taken up with huge enthusiasm by other plot holders and local businesses who helped us to create what really is a very, very special place. And we're going to be going through that gate any minute now. But I'm just going to point something else out, David. Another little bit of nature deciding it's going to do its own thing. In amongst this lovely row of purple sprouting is a curly kale plant, which just decided that, well, why not? And on our right here, we have all sorts of things. So we have the beans and the rhubarb that you'd expect in any allotment setting. But we're also growing some unusual plants and vegetables now. Tomatoes grow remarkably well outside on our sandy soil, but so too, it seems, do melons. And on my plot, I have a number of watermelons growing. And I think that for many people, the idea that we have watermelons from Wellesbourne is perhaps a little bit remarkable, but I promise you they are lovely and they taste very much of watermelon. So here we are now. The opening ceremony is about to start, but you can see this beautiful, beautiful plot. And we're here now with Heather, who has helped very much to put this together. She spearheaded this project. She spearheads the Oscars. Heather, what is it like to have this really very beautiful spot now?
Well, I think it's amazing for everyone in Wellesbourne, particularly people living with dementias and their carers. It's somewhere quiet, relaxing, restful to come and sit and enjoy all the senses out in the open air. As most people know, it is beneficial to be outdoors, but for people with dementia, it's more so. It gives them an opportunity to engage in all their senses, have somewhere nice to sit and chat. I mean, a lot of people live in the quite a lot of social housing and places where there's not much garden, so they've got somewhere here. We've got a space at the back where if someone actually gets their hands dirty and do a bit of planting, they can. So we can let people also do a bit of gardening themselves.
Heather, thank you so much. I'm going to cut you short now because we're going to move over to the official opening ceremony, which has Stefan Buczacki will be cutting a ribbon, I believe, and we'll meet up with Ian again there. I hope that many people will come to this particular plot and have a look and talk to Heather about all the good work that she's doing. So as we hit the gate opening, I think we're going to move towards the ribbon. And I can see that gathered here is Stefan. I'll catch up with perhaps immediately after he's opened this. So as you can hear, there's a big murmuring. I don't know if David can just look behind us a moment, but we've got our first guests coming in. And a big thank you to everyone who's coming, because everybody who comes through the door is helping to raise funds for the National Garden Scheme and those wonderful medical charities that it supports. So thank you to everybody. Any minute now, the scissors have appeared, which is always a good sign, and we'll be letting you through the rope. Stefan, as you can see, is ready to cut, and Ian will introduce him. Ian is our chairman.
Do I have a microphone?
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Wellesbourne Allotments. We're very privileged to have Dr. Stefan Buczacki here, of Radio 4 fame and gardening fame, and he's actually going to officially open the allotments for us. So I'll hand over to him.
Thank you very much indeed, and good afternoon from me, ladies and gentlemen. Can I say what a pleasure it is for me and my wife Beverly, who's with me, to come here and be with you today. Many of you won't know, probably most of you won't know, why should you, that I actually worked in this village for 12 years at the Research Institute, and in all that time, to my shame, I never actually came and saw the allotments, because we lived in Stratford at the time, and I came and did my work here and went home. But what an astonishing asset this is. It really is. I was asking earlier, I think it probably is the only allotments in the country that open under the Allotment charity scheme, and you know, my hats off to all of you involved. It is a phenomenal asset, and I know the allotments here are actually on, in a sense, private land. They're not municipal allotments, and I'll just say a word about that in a moment. But I do wonder when the powers that be thought back to enacting the Allotments Act of 1908, which you may be or may not be familiar with, but if 6 parishioners in a locality demand allotments, the local authority is duty bound to provide them. And I think when that act was enacted way back in 1908, they couldn't have imagined that there would be allotments like this in the future. But these allotments, of course, are not owned by a local authority, and that's a very important factor. Because as I understand it, they're owned by the diocese, the local diocese, and I understand they are under threat. Now, that concerns me greatly. There's a possibility, an intention even, that part of them should be given over to building land. And I'm told that in return, an alternative plot has been offered, or alternative plots would be offered. That to me simply indicates a total misunderstanding of what allotment gardening and what horticulture is about. And I would draw a parallel with the route of the HS2 railway, where they're removing ancient woodlands and saying, we'll plant you another one just down the road. I'm afraid nature and horticulture and wildlife doesn't work like that. So all I would say is I don't know what state this threat under which your allotments are. I don't know what state it's at now, but I would certainly say if there's anything I can do now or at any time in the future, use my name or any influence that I have to help you to fight that cause, I'd be happy to do so. I don't know, does Wellesbourne have a local development plan? Is there a plan? Because surely could not the area be designated as a designated green space? Would that not help? I don't know. The allotments in my own village, the other side of Stratford, are also on private land, but my goodness, they couldn't hold a candle to this. This is absolutely astonishing. And to me, allotment gardening is a wonderful activity to get involved in. It brings people together, and it also produces wonderful produce, as I've seen. I'm not going to prattle on any longer. Later on today, I shall be answering questions. We'll do my best to answer questions. in the time-honoured way. And I also brought a few of my books along if anyone is sufficiently disposed to want to buy them. They will be on sale and I'll be happy to sign them. But without any more ado from me, I'm going to hand over the microphone so I can use these scissors properly and declare this wonderful event open. Enjoy yourselves.